Woo, okay, how's it going everyone? It's me, it's Consciensula. I hope you're having a good day, and welcome to today's Pokemon Go video. Alright, so we have a major topic to discuss in this video. Yesterday, something incredibly major happened within the world of Pokemon Go. The #1 player in the world got their account hacked, and they lost everything. In fact, the person that hacked their account was bragging about how they had a hold of that player's account, and they were deleting all of that player's Pokemon before everyone's eyes. It was incredible what happened yesterday, and I don't say incredible in a good way. It was just insane, the things that happened within the Pokemon Go community. I mean, pretty much everyone was talking about this, and it was even trending worldwide at one point. Fleece King is a very notable figure within the Pokemon Go community, and to see his account get hacked and most of his prized Pokemon get deleted, yeah, that was a big deal, and it definitely sent ripples within the Pokemon Go community. Now, I'm not going to speak about the player who hacked Fleece King's account. He's a very notable troll within the Pokemon Go community, and he's an advocate for spoofing, and I really have no opinions on that. I don't really want to get into any of that, but I want to talk about this situation right now where the #1 player gets their account hacked, which means pretty much anyone can get their account hacked. Considering that Fleece King has so much influence within Pokemon Go and within Niantic, you would think that his account among all accounts would be safe, but apparently that's not the case. This means that even your account as a normal player or my account as a small content creator, yeah, any one of us can get our accounts hacked. This really is something that Niantic needs to address right away. A lot of players are not showing confidence that Niantic has a grasp on their game. Like, one thing that was being floated around is that the person that hacked Fleece King's account used Niantic support to get a hold of that account. What do I mean by that? Well, Fleece King does often post a lot of videos and screenshots of his gameplay, so chances are the hacker may have taken those screenshots and gameplay footage and then sent it to Niantic support in order to get the account restored under their name. I mean, I'm sure Niantic has a bunch of checks and balances to prevent something like this from happening, but I wouldn't put it past them. Like, considering the reputation that Niantic support has, something like this could definitely happen, and I really do not want to give any ideas, and I really hope Niantic takes this and does something with their Niantic support to prevent something like this from happening. I don't think this is what happened with Fleece King, but it is definitely a possibility. So Niantic, if you're listening, you need to make sure this is not a thing, that this is not a loophole for players to lose their account, because that would be incredibly embarrassing, and I really wouldn't want that to happen to anyone that I know. Now, another thing that players have floated is that, well, it's Fleece King. I'm sure he gets a lot of sponsorship emails, and maybe one of those emails was a phishing scam, and got all of his info and data hacked, and that's probably how someone was able to get into his account. It's definitely a possibility. I mean, even myself as a content creator, I get a lot of emails claiming they are sponsors and they want to sponsor my videos, and a majority of them look very fishy, and I do not click on any links or images or any attachments because I do not want to get my accounts hacked. And I've seen it a lot within even YouTubers. Like, there are major YouTubers who have lost their accounts because they clicked on a sponsorship email and guess what? They got their account hacked. I think that's definitely a possibility with Fleece King, considering his status within the Pokemon Go community and as a content creator and as a Pokemon Go player. I'm sure he gets a lot of sponsorship emails, and maybe he clicked on the wrong one and got all of his data hacked. That is certainly a possibility. I can't say that is exactly what happened, but I really do not know. I just think that no matter what, Niantic needs to do a lot of things to secure players' accounts. That's really what it comes down to. So another controversy around this situation is the fact that Fleece King apparently got his account restored. I don't know if it's just access to his account that he got back or if he got all those deleted Pokemon returned to him. By the way, the person that hacked Fleece King's account, they went on Twitter and actually deleted all of Fleece King's Pokemon right there and then. Like, they posted a video of them doing just that. That's gotta be devastating if you're Fleece King. Like, imagine all of your hard-earned 100% IV shinies and legendaries just getting deleted right before your eyes. That would be incredibly devastating. So if Fleece King continues to play Pokemon Go, give him all the props in the world, because I myself would just flat out quit the game outright if that happened to me. Like, honestly, I would not be able to stomach that. If all of my prized Pokemon, some of which have really big memories attached to them, like if they were deleted in front of my eyes, I would be devastated. I probably wouldn't play Pokemon Go ever again. But the fact that he got his account back might mean that he got all those deleted Pokemon back as well. And if that's the case, then that does set a precedent that Niantic now needs to follow. In the past, there was a lot of players who got their accounts hacked, or maybe they lost their accounts in some way, and they lost a lot of Pokemon at the same time, and those players did not get those Pokemon back after getting their accounts back. I think this is one of the only cases where this has actually happened, and if it did happen, then I think it's something that Niantic needs to follow for every single player. I know that would cause a lot of havoc within Niantic, considering there's so many players who probably get their accounts hacked, or maybe because a lot of players might use that to exploit the system, and Niantic is fully aware of that. But I really do think that this is something that is going to be a problem moving forward. I mean, unless players stop getting their accounts hacked, which probably will not stop, Niantic now has the big tall task of having some sort of system that will restore accounts. I think that's going to be very difficult. And the reason why this is a controversy is because, well, why is Fleece King, even though he might be the #1 player in the world, why is he getting special treatment? I think every single player deserves the same treatment. If you got your account hacked, then you should be able to get your account back just like Fleece King did. Like, something that a lot of players have complained about is that Niantic caters to very specific players. I want to be clear and say that this is not sour grapes. I have no intention or care of ever being sponsored by Niantic or being within Niantic's good graces. I certainly have a good relationship with certain people within Niantic, but I actually do not care about having any kind of working relationship with Niantic. And the reason for that is because I want to stay pure with my content and create the videos that I want to create and not be bottlenecked into stuff that Niantic wants me to make. Sure, there are a lot of perks to being sponsored by Niantic, but I'm just not interested in any of that. So Fleece King is one of those sponsored players, and he's someone that does get a lot from Niantic. He gets flown out to certain locations, he gets featured in a lot of Pokemon Go content, and I think that's rubbing a lot of players the wrong way. The fact that Fleece King is getting his account back and he's getting a lot of special attention for this one specific situation, I think a lot of players are seeing that as Niantic playing favorites. And let me be clear, that's to no fault of Fleece King, right? He's just the #1 player in the world, and he's getting a lot of attention and influence. So naturally, Niantic would want to have him as part of their influencer crew. So I really do not think that's on Fleece King's fault, but I think this does set a very negative precedent within the Pokemon Go community that Niantic is always playing favorites, and they're not going to care about your account. They're only going to care about the accounts of a few players. And I don't necessarily think that's true based on everything that I've heard from Niantic, but that's really something that they need to change in terms of perception. If the community is thinking this, then it's really up to Niantic to stop them from thinking that. I really do think that if they're going to play favorites with Fleece King and they're not going to do this for other players, then yeah, that's just going to continue to set that precedent, and I really wouldn't want that for Pokemon Go. So where do we go from here? Well, like I said before, if something like this were to happen to Fleece King, it could definitely happen to you. It could definitely happen to me. I think this is just a huge reminder that we need to be cognizant of account security. We need to make sure that we're securing our accounts. We need to be changing our passwords. We need to have two-way authentication, like all that stuff. And we need to make sure that we're voicing our opinions to Niantic. We need to make sure that Niantic is fully aware that players do not feel their accounts are safe. And Niantic needs to do a lot of things in order to make that less apparent. Like, there's a lot of measures that they could take to keep your account secure. I think for the last couple of years, a lot of players have been complaining that Niantic has done very little for account security. And I believe that. I feel like just simply logging into the game is incredibly easy. And there's plenty of ways that players could lose their accounts. So Niantic, the ball's in your court. You really need to speak out against this whole situation. It's definitely causing a stir. I mean, the fact that this whole thing was trending worldwide on Twitter, that just goes to show that a lot of players are concerned about this. So at the very least, I'm glad Fleece King got their account back, and for the person that hacked his account, I really won't say anything about them. I'm not going to put any kind of spotlight on that person. They're already making a big wave on Twitter for what they did. I'm not going to draw attention to that. That's really up to you if you want to look up what that person did and who that person is. But in any case, yeah, this is just all such a hot mess, and I really do hope that moving forward, Niantic does something about it. Because if a lot of players start getting their account hacked because Niantic is very lax with their security, that's just going to be a bad look for the game and for Niantic. I mean, no one's going to trust Niantic when it comes to playing any of their games, and that trust needs to be built from the ground up, so yeah. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding this entire messy situation down below. Are you someone who is concerned about your account's security? Are you someone who got your account hacked? I would love to know your story. Let's talk about it. Let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to every single patron on my Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the ConchInsula channel, the best way you could do so is by clicking on the links in the description below. If you become a paid Patreon member, you get a permanent spot on my in-game Pokemon Go friends list. That means you get remote raid invites, you and I could build up our friendship level, and overall just interact within Pokemon Go. If that's something that interests you, then go and check out my Patreon. Also, if you want to support my channel in a very different way, you could always do so by following me on social media. My handle is @ConchInsula, and I'm on the platforms that you see on screen. And yeah, with all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I am ConchInsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.